Okay. Good evening, everybody that's joining us tonight for our guided My PCLS tour here at Pierce County Library System. My name is Britannia, and I work here at the South Hill branch, and I'm going to be guiding you through our website today. So this is our main page of the website here at mypcls.org. It's going to be your landing page and your starting point for everything that you're going to want to do here on our website. As you can see, most of our options for actions we're going to take on the website are located up here, near the top of the website, kind of on the right-hand side. And we're going to start out with a login so that we can go over the account settings and all of the good stuff that relates directly to you, the patron. So to do that, you're going to start out by clicking on the login button, just like I'm doing now. Normally, the login button is going to present you with a opportunity to put in your library card number and your PIN number. You would do that to log in. I already have mine put in. So this has taken me to the My Account portal, and what it's showing is my basic account information on the page. As you can see, there are some options over here on the left that we're going to be checking out here in a minute, but I want to start here on this page. And I'm going to start out by expanding our contact information and preferences section. So this section has all of your personal information, your home address, your email, your phone number, where you like to pick up your books, and how you like to receive your email notices. And I think the thing that we get asked about most in the library is if we are able to track your reading history as a patron. So something that's really worth knowing is that here at the library, we cannot enable reading history for you. It's something that you have to choose to do for yourself, and that's because that's your private information. So we want you to have control over whether your reading history is tracked or not. As you can see on my page, I do not have my reading history marked as tracked, but if I wanted it to be tracked, if you want it to be tracked, what you do is you check this box and you're going to get this little notification um, saying that we don't track the information about what you check out unless you select this feature. So you're going to go ahead and hit OK if you are OK with that. And then you're going to go ahead and hit submit change request. It's really important that you click that button to save your changes, any changes that you make to this page. If you just make the change and then you click away somewhere else, it's not going to save it. So I went ahead and saved the page, and now you can see that the box is checked. And if you look over here on the left-hand side, you'll see that a new option has appeared on the sidebar over here that says reading history. So now if I click on that, it will take me to my reading history moving forward. Okay. So I want to be clear that once you activate this button, it's not going to pull previous reading history. That data does not exist. We don't have it. So the only option for if you want to track your reading history is to track it moving forward from the time you check the box. Now, if for some reason you're tracking your history and you change your mind about it and you decide that you don't want to track your history anymore, you can either go to the change preferences button on this page, which will just take you back to where the setting is, or you can just go directly to the setting, how we did the first time. You go ahead and you uncheck the box. It's going to let you know that stopping reading history is also going to delete all of your existing history. So if you're going to do this, I want you to be really sure that it's what you want to do, because it's going to erase it and you won't be able to get it back once you've done this. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. You'll see that the box is unchecked, but just like before, you're going to need to do submit change request to actually save your changes on the page. So now that that has been saved, you can see that the reading history option has gone away on the left-hand side of the page over here. And so that has been removed. Of course, you can also update any of the other information that you do have on here, including your logon information, password, username, your PIN, all that good stuff. You can change that right here on the My Account section of the website. So now let's take a minute to go ahead and look at our checked out items. So I have one item checked out on my account right now. Um, There's a little bit of information about the item, including how many renewals I've got left, what its call number is, and when the book is due. So, one great thing about this page is if you have an item that's coming up as due in the near future, which this is not, but let's say that it was, I could select this item and try to renew it. Okay, so it is letting me know that I was successful in renewing the item. All I have to do is hit back and go back to the page. Because this item was checked out today, it didn't actually change the due date, but it would change it to 3 weeks out. And you can see that I have now used one of my renewals because I have two instead of three remaining. You do get 3 renewals on all items at Pierce County Library System except for interlibrary loans and Lucky Day items. If you're ever trying to renew an item and the website gives you an error and won't allow you to renew it, that is because the item is on hold for another person and it does need to be returned so that it can go on to that person. So that's how you go ahead and renew items in your account without having to call the library or go in. If you want to be self-sufficient and do that on your own, you can do all that right here in your items out tab under your My Account on the MyPCLS website. So this page, I don't have any on here currently, but if you had any hold requests that you would put in on a book, and I will be showing you how to place a hold a little bit later, you'll be able to see that right here on this page and kind of get to see where you are in line and what the status is of your hold. Our next tab in this portion of the website is the fines and fees section of the website. This is where you would pay any fees that you have on your account. We don't charge late fees for late items here at Pierce County Library System, but we do charge for relatively new items that have been returned damaged and have to be removed from the collection and replaced. And we do charge for items that are never returned to us. So if you ever have a fine or a fee that you have to pay, it does have to be paid through the website. We don't accept cash payment at any of our library locations. And if you come in and you need to pay, they will direct you to a computer to log onto the website and pay your fine. So you would come to this page and it would give you an option to pay the fine or the fee with a debit or a credit card. And you would just enter all of that information here and make your payment. Finally, there is an option here for saved searches. This is an option that comes in handy for searching our catalog. I'll show you a little bit more about that here in a little bit. And then the last feature that I want to go over for the My Account section of the website is our list section. So you can create a list of items just like this. So you can create a list of items that you would like to add books to. You can create several different lists, depending on how granular you want to get and how much you want to save. You know, maybe you like to read a couple different genres and you're only in the mood for mysteries at a certain time, but you're in the mood for romances at another time. You could create a romance list and a mystery list of books that you'd like to read. And then you can move books to the list and save them for the future so that you have that information for yourself when you're browsing for books in the library catalog. Um, you can delete lists if you are not using it anymore. And I'll show you a little bit more about how these lists work once we've gone into the catalog and done some browsing and added some items to this list. So that's the basics of the My Account section of the website. We are next going to go over our catalog and search functions on the website. So I'm going to take us back to the home page. I'm sure that you can see that on this page, it is a little bit different than the top bar on the main page. So when you're trying to navigate back to the main page, you're looking for this option, Library Website. You're going to click on it for the drop down, and then you're going to click on Home. And it's going to take us back to the main landing page for the website that we started out on. You should still be logged in. So what I want to do is start out doing a search for a book. So let's say we're looking for the popular title Where the Red Ferns Grows. Um, and I'm interested in this particular novel and I'd like to get a copy of this book. So pretending that we're searching from home instead of inside of the direct library, in order to get this book on hold, what I would do is click on this upper right-hand corner where this orange button is showing up, and I would say place hold. It's going to take you to a page. It's going to ask you for a little bit of information about your hold request. It wants to know where you'd like to pick your book up, which can happen at any of our library locations. All right. So you're going to want to pick the location that's most convenient to you. And then it's going to give you something called an activation date. Activation date means the day that you want the hold to become active. For most people, you want your activation date to be the day that you're requesting the book because you want it as immediately as possible. But in some cases, you might want to delay your activation date. Examples of this would be like if you're looking for a book, but you're going on vacation in 2 days and you're not going to have time to get to the library to pick it up. So let's say you knew you were going on vacation for a week. Which means that you would be back on the 13th of January. And you're thinking, well, I get back on the 13th, so I'll have it activate then. And then I know it'll take a little time for the book to come in, so I can go pick it up that week or the week after. So we would change the activation date to 1/13/2026, and we would hit submit request. So my request has now been placed. It's going to let me know in this contact information and preferences section where it's going to send notifications, including my email address, or in this case, my fake email address. Um, and then we can either go back to our search results or we can go to our holds list to see the status of our hold. So I'm going to take us back to the hold list real quick so you can get an idea of what it looks like once it has a book on it. So we're back into the My PCLS My Account section of the website. As you can see, the My Account bar has popped up on the left-hand side and the top has changed to this green colored banner. And we can see the title that we just requested. It is listed as inactive right now because it doesn't activate until next week because we set it for that vacation. And we do have a couple of great new options here. That I'm going to go over with you real quick. So some of these are kind of self-explanatory. First, you're going to want to select the item. Let's say I originally thought that I was going to pick this book up at South Hill, but actually I'm going to be in Graham, which is just down the road from here, and I'd like to pick it up from there instead. So I change it to Graham and I hit submit. It lets us know that it's changed it. We hit OK. And now you can see that the pickup location is the Graham Library instead. So now let's say, unfortunately, my vacation was canceled. I would really like to get this book sooner. So I'm going to go ahead and select it and click the suspend reactivate selected. And I'm going to assign it a new activation date. The new activation date can be the day that you're doing it if that's as soon as you want it. And you're going to go ahead and hit submit to update that date and then hit OK when it's notifying you that it's done what you requested, takes you back to the page and notifies you of the new status. So now this status is listed as active, which means that it is on the list for one of the libraries that has this book to pull off of their shelf and send it to the Graham Library for me to pick up. So since this is an example and I don't actually want to create some work for the library staff to send me this example book, I'm going to go ahead right now and hit cancel selected. Okay. So it's going to want me to confirm that I want to cancel. The reason why it does this is because we don't want you to accidentally remove yourself from a hold list that you've waited, a long time for a book, for instance. And then if you accidentally remove yourself, you lose your place in line. So when you're removing a hold, make sure it's what you actually want to do with the understanding that you're going to be removed from the line for that hold. So I'm certain that I want to cancel, so I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. And you'll see that this is now noted is now in a status of canceled. So you'll see on your account for your holds in the past that you will have canceled statuses for things, including books that were not picked up on time when they came in. So just know that when it says canceled, that nothing is happening with that hold. It is either in the past or has been, canceled by you. So let's go ahead and go back to our main website now that we've got a chance to look at what that hold looks like. And let's go back into our search for where the red fern grows and talk a little bit about what the composition of this page is. Um, I'm sure that you can see that on the left-hand side of the listings that there are different icons appearing underneath of this book. So the icons are telling us what the media or format is for each item. So this is the DVD version, the film adaptation of this book. This is the actual physical version of this book. And then we've got this icon down here that's like a book inside of a blue frame. That means that this is an ebook. And as you can see kind of from my screen, when I'm hovering over these icons, it does actually give me a text explanation of what each icon means. So if you can't remember which icon is which, go ahead and just hover over and it will tell you what that icon means. So for instance, this one with the CD and the book means that it's an audiobook that's on CD physically in the library. And then there are also audiobooks that symbol looks like a little pair of headphones with a little square. So that's how you can kind of easily distinguish from the main page what kind of media you're looking at. Um, Obviously, in some cases, you may not be open to different kinds of media. Like you might specifically only want the book. And the great thing about our website is that you can filter your search results. So if I only wanted the book and I didn't want to see audiobooks, ebooks, that kind of stuff. Or if I didn't want to see the DVD options, you can go over here and where it says book, you can check the box in front of it, and then it's going to alter the search results. So it only shows me book and ebook results. So it kind of parses it down a little bit for you so you don't have so much to look through. With a title like Where the Red Fern Grows, this isn't as problematic, but with titles that are really popular with children, it can be really useful. So a great example of that would be like the Pokemon series. Not only are there books and audiobooks and ebooks and graphic novels, but there are also TV shows and movies. And so you can get literally hundreds of results for it. And so being able to filter in that way is really helpful. You can do multiple filters. So for instance, if I was open to finding the book and the audiobooks, I could click both of those and it would show me both things. And likewise, if I was wanting to see only the results for a certain library, I could narrow it down by selecting the specific library that I was most interested in, picking the book up from. This is really useful if you want to pick up an item that day. So let's say that I really am behind on my homework and I need a copy of Where the Red Fern Grows and I need it right now. So I would go ahead and leave my book and audiobook settings selected, and then I would go up here to availability and select available now. And then I would come down here and look at the libraries that are listed. So our search function is pretty smart. And one of the things that it does is it prioritizes libraries that have the copy of the book towards the top of this assigned branch list. So if I go ahead and select the Eatonville Library, it's going to parse everything down even further and show me that there is one copy of the on CD audiobook at the Eatonville Library right now. So that's how you can kind of narrow your results to search for specific things at specific places in specific formats. Now, there are other kinds of searches that you're going to want to do. Um, you may be searching for a more general topic. So, for instance, you might be interested in sewing. And if you wanted to search for that, but you didn't know specifically the name of the book, you could instead change your keyword search to sewing and then search by subject. And if you don't want to get audiobooks for this because you want to be able to physically see directions for sewing, you would change this to print books or books, depending on if you're open to ebooks. And then you're going to go ahead and hit your search function. Now, if you're looking for something that you can check out right now, again, you're going to want to check the available now box. And then you're going to want to filter by location based on where you're willing to travel. So, for instance, if I'm looking at South Hill, I might also look at Graham, which is just down the street. And if you don't see your library you're looking for, don't be alarmed. Go ahead and click on the More button that's near the bottom of the section, and it'll expand it out and give you more options. So I'm going to select South Hill, Graham, and Summit's also pretty close to here. So I'm going to go ahead and select Summit as well. So now these search results are showing me all the books that have sewing, the word sewing listed in their subject material that are currently checked in to the three libraries, Graham, South Hill, and Summit, that I've selected. You can see here that there are some books that are for adults, and there are some books that are for kids, and there are some books that are for teens. You can reduce your search results further by selecting your target audience. These are by age group. So if you selected adult, then it would only include the adult collection books. And if you selected juvenile, it would include books for children and teens. So there are a lot of really great options for filtering your searches and narrowing down your results so that you can find exactly what you're looking for. There are several things that are kind of popping up here on the left-hand side that you can explore as well. So one of my favorite things is this subject section. When I'm looking for a general subject, sometimes I start running into a wall where I can't find exactly what I'm looking for, and I need more specific instruction entered into the website to help me find that item. So in this case, let's say I was looking for sewing, but really what I wanted was instructional work about patterns. You may see those related results kind of popping up here on the left-hand side. And if you're interested in exploring that more narrow subject, you can click on those links and it will take you to a narrowed down version of your search results that feature that specific narrowed down subject. Um, other searches that we can do include changing them from fiction to nonfiction, um, and searching by specific author that are associated with this subject. And then, of course, there's also related subject suggestions down here. Um, and all the way back up at the top here, I do want to go over real quick our drop down of what you can search by. So you can definitely do the any field, and I think that if you're doing a very general search, that the any field search is the best way to go because it's going to give you the broadest search across the catalog. However, if you're kind of frustrated because you're getting too broad of a subject, that's when you can kind of, narrow down by going to subject or even searching specifically for an author or the title of a book. So when we're searching for an author, the common format is to do the last name, comma, first name. A lot of the time, you will notice that our search engine is actually going to make a recommendation to you as you're typing. Um, And so what it's showing me here right now is Stephen King and his birth year, 1947. The reason why it gives you a birth year on an author like this is because if your author has a common name, there may be more than one author in our catalog, and giving the birth year might give you a better idea of which specific author you are looking for. So if we were looking for Stephen King and we wanted to see Stephen King novels, that's how we would search for his books specifically. And then, of course, you could use all of these lovely narrow down features that I've discussed with you already here on the left-hand side, the location, the age group, whether it's in book format or electronic resource, which is ebooks and audiobooks, or subjects that are related to it, all of that good stuff. So that's how you can search for an author. Now, in some cases, you might not know the author's full name, and you might not be able to remember what their first name is. So I'm looking for author's last name Tchaikovsky. As you can see, there are several authors with the last name Tchaikovsky. And I can just choose to go ahead and hit enter at this point and just search for the word Tchaikovsky. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring up all of our books that have an author with the name Tchaikovsky anywhere in their name, first name, last name, middle name. It's going to do a general search for that author. As you're scrolling, you may see the book that you're looking for. Like, for instance, maybe we're looking for Adrian Tchaikovsky, and we're excited about that. So we can go ahead and just click directly on his name. And it's going to take us to this kind of funny looking search page. Essentially, what this is doing is giving us different headings to search under. Each one of these links will take you to a specific search result. So in this case, the book that I clicked on was not part of this series, but this might be the series that I was looking for, and it may jog your memory, and you might say, "Oh yes, Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. That's the series I was looking for." So in order to see the books that we have for that, you could go ahead and click on this link, and it's going to take you to the search results for everything that falls inside of that search heading. So in this case, for this book, I want to take you in to look at a little bit more of the detailed information for the book. So when you click on a book's listing, most of the time it's going to give you most of the time you're going to be doing this in the library, but you may be doing this at home, especially if you're using the library's website as a way to browse for new materials that you might want to check out in the future and you're not sure. So when you click on this, it's going to tell you everything about the actual specific book and the copy that we have at the library. It's going to tell you when it was published, who the author was, what the format is, how long it is, a brief summary of the book that usually comes from the publisher. In this case, it comes from OCLC. And then the related subjects and genres related to this book. It's ISBN numbers, how many we have in the system, how many holds there are on it, what its call number is. And I will say, when you're in the library and you're using our catalog or you're searching the website either on your phone or through a computer, you're always going to want to make sure that you scroll far enough down on this page to see this section called availability by branch. Okay. If this book were checked in, you would be able to go find this book at the South Hill Library only. It would say status in, and obviously this book is not checked in. This book is checked out right now, so we know that it's not currently available. And then you would go and you would find it by looking under the T's in the adult fiction section. And you know that because it says fiction here, and then it has the author's last name. I think that the difference between the call number listed here and the call number listed here is this information right here that tells you more about what section that book is going to be located in. Because of the way that we shelve our books at various branches, you're always going to want to make sure that you gather this information as well when looking to find a physical book in the library. So one other feature that I want to go over real quick while we're on this page is the ability to add books to lists. So let's say that this was a book that I wanted to add to my previously created list that we made just about 30 minutes ago. We go ahead over here on the right-hand side under the place hold buttons, there is an add to list button. So there are multiple list options for me right here, and I can go ahead and add it to books I want to read, and it says added to the list. That's how we know that it saved it, okay? So just to go back and look at our accounts, we can make a quick jump back over to our account by going up to this navigation bar near the top where it says My Account and clicking on My Account. And then we can go to books I want to read list here on the left-hand side, and there's our book right there. So this is a really great way to track books that you would like to read in the future. And it also can be a good way to track books that you've read in the past, especially if you want to sort them and categorize them in a certain way. So I really do recommend using the list feature if you want to do that kind of book tracking. Because when you do the activation of the reading history, it doesn't really sort it for you. It just puts everything in one gigantic list. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this book from this list at this time. Okay, so that's how you remove it. You just check the box and you hit remove. Okay, and I also want to show you the delete list function just so you can see what it looks like when you actually delete the list. So I'm going to go here to this little link. It's near the top under the title of the list, and you're going to hit delete list. Now it's going to ask you if you're sure that you want to delete the list from the account. That's just so that we don't have any room for error on this. So you're going to go ahead and click OK, and it's going to delete that list. And you'll see that there are no more lists shown here under the My List section because I went ahead and deleted the one that we made. Okay, so going back to the library's website, we've looked a little bit about at the search functions for our catalog, but we haven't looked very much at the search function for our website. So our little search box here does searching in two different places. One is the library catalog, where all of the library materials that you can check out from the library are listed. And the other search function is the website itself. So if you are looking for something in the website, this is the function that you're going to want to use. In this case, I want to go over with you interlibrary loans. So in my opinion, the easiest way to get to our interlibrary loan page is by typing it in right here in the search bar, making sure that the search website toggle is selected, and going ahead and searching. So our website likes to return things in this list format where it gives you what it thinks is the most accurate result to your inquiry, and then the second most accurate, third most accurate, so on and so forth. Our search functions are pretty good. So in this case, it's absolutely right that the first option it's offering me is the one that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And we're going to take a little peek at our interlibrary loan system. So our interlibrary loan system has recently updated. It's changed from the old form, and we recognize that that's difficult, and so we're glad to go over this with you today so you can see what it looks like to do an interlibrary loan form through our new system. So it's really easy to miss this little bit of text right here that's under this big banner, but this is what we're looking for on this page that's most important. When we're doing an interlibrary loan, it's for an item that you cannot find in the Pierce County catalog. I want to be clear, that's not for items that are currently just checked out right now and you're having to wait for it on hold. I'm talking about items that when you search for the title and the author, there's just nothing popping up. You cannot find the book or the DVD or whatever it is you're searching for at all. So if you have a full service card with us at PCLS, you can do what's called an interlibrary loan, which means that we, the library system, are going to then ask another library to loan us an item on your behalf so we can check it out to you as our patron. So you're going to go ahead and click on this link called Request System at the end of this sentence. You're going to enter your library card information and click Login. And it's going to take you to what is called the WorldCat catalog. Once you're here, you can search for an item. I'm gonna go back to where the red fern grows, okay? And it's going to show you a search result of items that are all over the world. So in this case, we have where the red fern grows at Pierce County Library System, and it's telling us that so that we're aware of that, right? So if you ever look for an item and then you're like, they don't have it, and you go to interlibrary loan and you look for it, and then it tells you that we have it in the system, you can always click that link and it'll take you back to the search result for that specific item so that you can get it checked out directly from us, okay? But putting that aside and pretending that we actually do not have the item, I would go into this book right here, okay? And then you click Request Item on the right-hand side, that blue button, and then it pops up a new screen for you. And on that screen, it's already going to pre-fill all of your information. All you need to do is scroll to the bottom, select your pickup location just like you do for a regular hold, and then in the amount willing to pay, what we're essentially asking is if you would be willing to pay extra, an additional amount of money over $0 in order to receive this book. My recommendation to you is that you put 0, okay? And then you select your location and you hit submit request, all right? That's going to request the book or the DVD or whatever else it is that you're looking for from the WorldCat system to be loaned to us from another library for you. You can do up to 2 of these requests per week, and these are only available to full Pierce County Library card holders, which means that if you have a reciprocal card with us, unfortunately, this service is not available to you. It's only available to people in our service area. So that's how you do an interlibrary loan. There are a couple of other things that I want to show you on our website that I'm going to pull up through our search function just so you can see what the search function looks like. And one of those services is our Ask Us service. Just like before, the search parameters are pretty good. And so Ask Us is the very first one that pops up. As the name implies, this is a function of our website that is intended for you to ask us questions. If you need help with something and you prefer an email over a phone call, or you're not able to come into the branch, absolutely go ahead and send us an email through this form and ask us your questions. We can't always answer all questions through the form, but we absolutely do our best. And if we're not able to answer the question through email, we'll let you know and refer you most likely to a phone call. A lot of the time, questions come in about library accounts, and because email is not secure, we do not share library account information over email. So absolutely come here with your questions, send them to us via email, and we can help you out with that. And then the second part of the Ask Us service is our appointment service. So if you need in-depth assistance with reference questions, basic technology help, or library resources, we can assist you one-on-one with a librarian in an appointment. These appointments do have to be requested in advance, and you can do that through this form on the website. So you would go ahead and click on this orange button here that says schedule an appointment. And then you would simply fill out this form, and somebody from the location that you requested will reach out to you. Just to be clear, you don't have to pick a specific location. You can request a Zoom appointment or a phone appointment, and we're happy to do those with you as well, okay? Regarding our technology help, we do basic tech help questions. As it says on the page, it is a 30-minute appointment. We can't do in-depth technology appointments for special softwares, and things like that, just because it's outside of our purview. But for basic technology assistance, like help with your email or help downloading a file or assistance with using basic Microsoft products like Word and Excel, we can absolutely help you troubleshoot those questions in an Ask Us appointment. So don't be scared to come ask us. All right. And then going back to our main page to do another quick search here, another really great resource we have here at our libraries physically are our meeting spaces and study rooms. So if you search for meeting room or study room, you're going to find meeting spaces. And if you come to this page, you're actually able to reserve these rooms for yourself completely on your own. So most of our libraries, though not all, have at least one meeting room and at least one study room that you can book. Study rooms and meeting rooms are a little bit different from each other. Study room, as it says here, study room reservations are limited to 2 uses within 1 week, and each reservation may not exceed 2 hours. Whereas meeting rooms may be reserved 8 weeks in advance, and that they're for up to 4 hours per session, and you only get 2 sessions per month for the meeting room. The difference between the study rooms and the meeting rooms physically is that the meeting rooms are larger and are intended to have public meetings held in them, and the study rooms are intended for your private use. So if you are doing a job interview, if you're studying for a test, if you're taking a test online, you're going to want to book a study room. If you're meeting with a larger group, you're probably going to want a meeting room. Most study rooms only hold up to 2 people, and the meeting rooms vary pretty widely by size depending on the location. If you have questions about a specific meeting room and how much space it has, you can reach out to the branch to find out about it. But let's go ahead and take a peek at our meeting room reservation system here. So as it said on the main page, you can only book 8 weeks in advance. So if you try to go really far out, like let's say into June, it's gonna limit you. Like it's gonna say that it's available, but when you try to book the room, it will give you this error message that says this room cannot be booked more than 56 days in advance, right? So it may look like it's available on the calendar, but just be cognizant of the fact that if you're more than 8 weeks out from the present date, you are going to catch this error message if you try to book out too far in advance, okay? And it's not going to give you that error message until you start clicking on the room and trying to set a time. So just be very cognizant of how far out in advance you are. Um, and then another part of this is you're really going to want to filter by location. Pierce County is a large county. You're probably not near all of the locations. And so you can uncheck all the boxes and then just select the certain locations that you're most interested in. So let's say Graham and South Hill because they're close to each other, along with Summit. And then it's going to show us the study room and meeting room spaces for all of the locations that you've selected and what their availability is for the date that you have selected on the calendar. So you can pick different days and move it around like this to look at availability. The green bars are indicating of it that it's available, and when the bar is grayed out like this, it means that somebody has the room reserved during that time. You don't have to dictate the difference between a meeting room and a study room to the software. It does that for you. So if you try to book a meeting room or a study room for longer than the allotted time, it will give you an error message, just like with the other one. So let's say I was going to try to book a study room. I was going to try to book a study room. Okay. And instead of going for my 2 hours to 12 o'clock, I'm going to try to go to 2 p.m. It's going to let you know that the room cannot be booked for more than 2 hours. Okay. Um, I do want to also show you that there is some information about the room in the little box. Once you've clicked on it, you do have to click on the availability bar in order to see this information. Um, but it's going to show you the capacity of the room, 2 people, because this is a study room. The location is South Hill. It tells you what is in the room. So in this case, there is a chair, and a workspace means a desk or a table. Okay. And there are 2 chairs here. All right. You don't get any additional setup or breakdown time. If you read through the initial page that we were on for meeting spaces, you will see that there is the stipulation that all rooms are booked, including their setup and takedown time, and that the expectation is that you will be out of the room by the end of your reservation time, and that the room is prepared for the next person who is going to be using it. Okay. So if we were going to book this study room for an appropriate amount of time that it's actually going to let us do it for, we can scroll our bar back this way. Okay. And now we're within an acceptable time frame. Okay. And then you would go ahead and select choose, and then you would enter your information. Now, I want to be clear, it does ask you for your library card number and PIN number here. You do not need a library card in order to book a study room or meeting room with us. You can book it without, but all of these fields with the red stars on them are required. So you will need to give us a legitimate email and phone number in order to book one of our rooms, okay? So if we're going to book this room, you would fill out this information. If you want to, you can include your library card number and PIN, and then you would hit next, and the system would reserve the room for you. And it would also send you an email to your email notifying you that you have officially reserved the room and giving you the details of the room reservation. So that's how you book study rooms and meeting spaces here at Pierce County Library System. Okay, going back out to our main web page. One of the last things, because we're getting towards the end of time here, that I want to go over with us today is our online resources section. The online resources section, I feel, is really overlooked here at the library. This is a list of databases that you get access to with your library card. Most of these databases are not free. They are not generally accessible to the public. There are paid services that essentially we are taking on the cost of paying for the subscription to the service so that you can use the service with your library card. There are really a lot of these on here, and I recommend that anybody that's in school or doing research come in here and take a look at what we have. And when I say research, I don't just mean academic research, I mean research in your daily life. So, for instance, if you have an interest in your ancestry, we do have a subscription to Ancestry.com library edition. So in this particular case, this database is only available when you're inside of a library building. That being said, we also have a subscription to Heritage Quest, which is another Ancestry website, and that can be used while you're at home. Any of our databases that do not have the in library use only signifier next to the title can be used anywhere. So I'm just going to go over a couple of these digital resources with us real quick, just so that you can see the ones that I think are the most useful. That includes Access World News, tons of full text articles from local and regional newspapers, including like some of the big news outlets that you sometimes have to pay for a paywall to get behind. So, if you like articles from the Atlantic and you can't afford to pay for it, come through the Access World News link and you'll have access to those articles using your library card for free. Obviously, I've already pointed out Ancestry. That's very, very popular. It's really great. If you're looking at car repair, the Chilton Library is what we've replaced a lot of car manuals with, because car manuals and repair manuals become so dated so quickly. We've switched over to Chilton because this information can be updated regularly and opens a database of all cars, including the most current ones. So if you're looking for car repair manuals, this is the place to go. If you're doing consumer research, like you're looking for new kitchen appliances, we do have Consumer Reports database on here that's really great for that kind of work and research. If you enjoy learning about new art and craft projects, Craftsy is really awesome. It has a bunch of instructional videos on just about every artistic pursuit that you could think of. So if you're looking to learn a new craft skill, this is an awesome place to go. For those that are doing academic research, Gale Academic One File is a really great resource that I definitely recommend checking out. Um, let's see, we've got a couple more in here that I'd really like to, we just got to get down to them. This is done in alphabetical order. So it makes it a little easier to find specific things that you're looking for. Job Now is a really great resource for folks that are currently job searching. It also offers resume critiques and interview assistance. So if you're really wanting help looking for a job, I recommend checking out Job Now. They do have like live support through chat client on their website. So that's really awesome and worth checking out. If you're ever looking in the library for, especially for older films or like BBC television and things like that, Canopy Film Collection can be a really great place to check out. They are not going to have a lot of the most popular current day titles, but they do have a ton of kids' entertainment, documentaries, and older television and movies that sometimes we don't have on DVD more anymore here in the library. So definitely check out Canopy if you're a film buff and you're looking for that kind of stuff. Um, I'm also a huge fan of Mango Languages. Mango Languages is really similar to Duolingo and some of the other online language learning platforms that people really enjoy. Mango Languages is awesome. Over 70 world languages. You learn at your own pace. It has so many great features to help you with pronunciation and with practicing your own vocabulary words. You can create your own flashcards. So if you're looking to pick up a second language and you're trying to use library resources to do that, definitely check out Mango Languages. You can even sign up for a family account and put up to 5 accounts under your own library account. So if you're a family going on a family trip somewhere and you want to learn the local language and you want your kids to learn too, this is a really great option for you. I'd also like to point out Morningstar Investment Research Center. Morningstar Investment Research Center has a lot of information about stocks, mutual funds, and ETFs. So if you're into investing and you're wanting to track stock numbers and you want an easy way to do it, Morningstar is a great way to get that information through your library card. And finally, the last one that I want to talk about is Novelist Plus and Novelist Plus K through 8. So one of the biggest questions we get here at the library, and I want to be clear, we love helping with this question. We're librarians, is what should I read? I've read all the books by my favorite author. Who should I go to next? And we can certainly make recommendations too at the library. We do love to do that. But if you want to look for yourself, Novelist Plus and Novelist Plus K through 8 is a really great database that is centered solely on helping you find your next book based on what you already like. So you can go into the search engine, search for a book that you've already read and enjoyed, and then it's going to recommend other titles to you based on that book. So Novelist Plus is all ages, and Novelist Plus K through 8 is for children. So that covers most all of the databases that I wanted to go over with you. But as you can see, there are a whole bunch more that are worth checking out. So don't skip our online resources section of our website because it's awesome and there's a lot of good stuff in there that people often just aren't aware of. Um, we've got about 2 minutes left. And I do have, it looks like I've got one person in the room with us here. So I'm gonna go ahead and see, does anybody have any questions? Okay, it looks like we don't have any questions tonight. Well, I'm really glad you all were able to tune in and check out the MyPCLS website with me. I hope that this little tutorial has been helpful in getting you through the basic use of our website. Of course, if you have any questions, you're always welcome to call the library or to come into the desk and ask us for assistance, and we'd be happy to do that for you. So I think we're going to wrap it up for the evening. Thank you so much for being here and for tuning in, and we will see you at the library next time.